Was built originally in 1946. It was where Hamhocker Vogel started, and then they went downtown after that.
Well, whenever I started to work at the factory, I had 3 sisters that already worked there, so it was just natural for me to go to work there.
Oh gosh, I don't remember my first day. I was too anxious to get a job, I guess.
Well, my first day of work here was 70 years ago. 1951, I went to work January the 22nd. And then this was just full of machines. And when I went to work the first time, the presses was all lined around back there. And there was no air conditioning. Oh, it was hot in here then. This was where the shoulder pads were put in, the jackets, the buttons were made. And over there they did hand sewing. They sewed buttons on by hand.
We rode the bus from Loretta to Lebanon, and George Buckler, it was the Buckler that was bus driver.
I worked in the cutting department, and then I was transferred to the office.
It was where I had just married, and I needed to go to work and earn a little money just to buy for a few days. I wasn't going to work but a little while.
Then I knew my husband, but I wasn't going with him at that time. He was foreman over the pressers. He'd pass by my sewing machine and throw me notes over on it.
And Telecom Incorporated, they made burglar alarms and other alarm systems in this factory. Telecom was here only a short while, maybe 6 or 8 years.
This is my very first check stub I ever made when I went to work after I graduated from high school. It's 1962. I went to work in August for Telecom.
Well, when I started out, it was just a temporary job in the planning department. I worked there for about 6 weeks. And like I said, it was temporary. And then whenever somebody left here, then they called me back to see if I was interested in full-time, and I certainly, so I came to work in this office.
Well, we wasn't making production, so he came by and told us we had to make production. She looked at me, she said, "Are you ready to go home?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go."
They walked out.
But everybody started lining up about 2 minutes till and stood in line to punch the clock. I don't know if this was the only clock or not. I have no idea. And as soon as we heard a click, they'd start punching out.
And then in '82, Jane and Linda Sportswear moved here, and they were here 11 years.
We made these little things too, and this is the pattern. And Mary Lou, that's my writing.
Yes, it is.
Isn't that funny how we can tell each other's writing? This out here was the biggest cutting room anybody could ever want to have. All the lights that was in here, just when people visited, they just, yeah.
I had relatives that worked for all 3 companies here. I had relatives who worked for Hamhocker Vogel. I worked for Telecom. I had relatives who worked there in it. I had relatives, my wife worked for the Jane Sportswear too.
This kept growing. It grew at one time to about 500 people. And then when it closed here, the day we closed, I had to tell everybody that they lost their job and I lost mine too. It was 314 people.
Our unemployment rate shot up to better than 17%, and eventually went to 21.5%. So we were in dire need. And
well, it meant that I had one daughter, and I was able to send her to school, educate her, and she's a nurse practitioner today. And you know, you buy your home, and many people did that. There was no turnover here. People came and they stayed because they liked their job, and actually it was the only thing at that time. It sounded really good when everybody was working. It just hummed away.